Test. Test.
Me, mo, mo, me, mo, mo, mo.
Test. Ah.
Whisky and Wifi.
Where are you with Sir Kevin?
Back because we're sick of just talking to each other.
Yeah, man. Last week's show, we're sorry it got delayed. I had some technical difficulties, but we're back.
Logan says hello from upstairs.
Yeah, if you can hear Loki up there, he's really excited. He wants to play some soccer, some corrupt soccer with everybody else.
Everything's corrupt.
Everything's corrupt. You know, when I read it, I was just like, oh, God, everything is corrupt. I don't even want to read the story because I just knew it. I'm like, as soon as I read it, I'm like,
First they're deflating footballs.
They're deflating footballs.
Bringing the World Cup.
It was the NBA like 8 years ago with the referee, and baseball's got the steroids.
Next thing you're gonna know, the presidents are bought and paid for.
What?
Wait, aren't they?
We already knew that, right? You two are gonna have to take over. I'll just comment on it because I didn't actually read the story. I just saw it.
Sounds like Kevin's read more than.
I just saw it and was just like, yep, this doesn't surprise me. I didn't even bother to read it.
You look at the countries that have been winning the tournament, and you're kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, as far as they say,
countries with the least infrastructure and the poorest people.
That's why.
And you're like,
They're super good. Like, Brazil's super good, though. Like, you watch them, it's like, oh, their players are really good.
oh, they're super good, but like the number of people that live in poverty
Oh,
and how
yeah.
much money
What-
they spent.
What
on
was going on?
numbers?
What
Did
was
you
the wrongdoing? That's what I don't understand.
It's
Was
just,
it
I
gambling?
guess it's kind of over. No, there was no gambling. It was just everyone bribing each other to get soccer
tournaments,
rights.
yeah. Like
there's like,
getting huge sums of money.
I'm not voting for you unless you give me money.
Like, and sometimes it was through different companies that they had
Yeah.
relationships with. Like, it was.
And basically, the amount of money that gets pumped into a city during the World Cup is like, it doesn't really help the city because apparently they're just wasting a lot. Like, they build a
You
lot
think
of
about it,
stadiums
like,
that
yeah,
aren't
like the
needed.
building company that gets the contract to build some of the stadiums. Like,
Yeah, there's all sorts of and they never do a good job at it. It's like they build these they
well,
build.
they do a good job, but then they don't have any other use for them a lot of times.
Right, like,
it's like, okay.
There's that one.
So they tear them down.
for a week.
They just let them sit there and they're just kind of like, oh,
They
we wasted
degrade.
all this money. So I think they said South Africa spent $2.7 billion on the World Cup,
Yeah, you think
and
about it.
then who had it after them? 2014.
It's like a bunch of airlines made a lot of money.
Brazil had
Else made-
Brazil spent $5 billion on it.
How much?
Russia isn't done yet, and they are estimated to be at $20 billion. And Qatar in 2022 is estimated to spend $200 billion on the World Cup.
Yeah, but that's so much.
They're
That
just-
is built by
'cause-
slave labor that you're like.
and
so
that's the
wait.
worst part. They're paying people $9.50 a day to work there,
Oh.
and they're not allowed
In
to.
180-degree weather.
Yeah, and basically when the World
People
Cup's
are
supposed to go
dying.
this summer,
That's
They're being worked
it's
to
too
death.
hot to play soccer there in the summertime.
Right.
Like under no circumstances does it make any sense. But they just looked at it like this is a humongous cash grab.
So yeah, for like the last few tournaments, people have been
1,500 people have died building stadiums already.
People have been questioning like how these different countries have been winning these bids because
They
part
don't
of
have
it,
infrastructure.
because yeah, part of it is like saying that you're going to have this, but then so many other countries can say look what we already have and they're going to improve on it and make it.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't even make sense for the world to be investing in all these superstructures when we already have so many of them. Like it's such a waste of. But it is cool. Like you referenced the point of Brazil having the tournament there. Like that's.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
very
they
cool for
should.
them.
Like yeah.
They're a huge soccer nation, so okay, great. But
that one.
Qatar, they have no history of soccer.
Yeah, like you said, it's too hot.
It's too hot to play
Like,
soccer.
sorry,
It's
this isn't for you.
140, 150 degrees, so they moved it to the winter. So they've interrupted club schedules all across the world to accommodate the World Cup.
And now
Look,
we
it
find
makes
out it's
abs-
corrupt.
And then you found out basically like
People got paid.
a lot of money. People just got paid off to do this. There's
Votes were made based off. Oh, it's funny how that works in our government as well.
Yeah,
We said
and
that
then-
before we got started.
yeah. It was just sort of like
It's
I was looking. I'm like,
how Congress
it
works.
was like yeah. This guy
These
said he
companies
wasn't
give
going to
them a
vote for
bunch of
this
money,
guy.
and then they vote for this bill that supports that company.
Yeah, and I was like, isn't this how it works here? Like, it's just you're not going to vote for you. I'm not going to vote for this thing if you don't give
They
me
call
money.
it different things.
Yeah,
They
but
don't.
you have to vote for my thing if I vote for your thing. It's basically what it comes down to.
I didn't read it or write it, but you got to vote for it.
Yeah.
I want someone that oil money.
So. Oil money.
Vote for this.
Yeah. You gotta vote for my thing.
It's
if I'm
really
gonna vote for your
sad.
thing.
It's sad. I mean, because I always thought of the World Cup as this like sacred tournament.
Oh, it's really bad.
You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, like, and it still is to a degree because the tournament itself has nothing to really do
Yeah,
with that.
it's not really it's not the players
But
taking
then
money.
but then I wonder sometimes you hear some of these questionable calls that refs make and stuff, and you're like, all right, if it's corrupted at that level, to that degree, when they're deciding where it goes,
Well,
are there games that are corrupted? Because so often the team that hosts the tournament, like, they get a good seed, and they make it really far.
I feel like you should get a good seed if you're hosting. Don't you think that's fair?
I feel like it should be pretty random. I feel like it should be completely random when it comes to that type of competition.
I feel like, no, I'm not saying they gotta give you, like, in your group, it's not like
Are you even guaranteed? Are you even guaranteed to make your own tournament?
That's the thing.
They usually find a reason to get you in there.
I mean, most of the time, like this have a
I
dream
don't
team.
think they have a team, but I think
Are they going? If they had
I'll
a
put it
team
this way:
in the
if
World
you
Cup,
can
they'd
buy
be like,
the World Cup,
really?
They have a buy in the
Really?
second round.
they can buy
actually.
their way in. Because no, I don't think the United States was supposed to get a bid in '94.
I don't think so.
But I think they let us have one in the name of hosting the cup.
Really?
Which
That's
is funny because
pretty
they talk
sad.
about these investigations
So
going
sad.
back to 1991, and we hosted it in '94. Now again, not the same amount of money floating around. Apparently not as brazen, but it's still within that window of like
I
questionable
wouldn't
ethics.
doubt it. I wouldn't doubt us.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, like maybe we get those U.S. dollars in on soccer. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Like if we get the United
Use
States.
soccer. It's
Yeah.
a lot of money.
I think it's coming around now with like games are more on Saturday morning, like on the weekends. Like you can catch some games pretty easily.
MLS.
Yeah,
Saturday
or
morning.
no Premier League.
Oh, Premier League.
They show the Premier League Saturday morning on NBC.
Yeah, I don't know why I never really got into professional soccer.
I'll put it this way: I usually just watch like the highlights, just the mini highlights of like, hey, look at this crazy goal, and it's like, oh, it's usually like the same players. It's like, or like I try to read like random articles on it. It's like,
I love the World Cup though.
Yeah, it's so
The
good.
World Cup's awesome.
Everyone
It only
loves
happens every 4 years, so it's so like.
Is it in the Olympics too? Soccer.
It is
Yeah.
in the- but I think Olympics is under 20. I think for the Olympics
There's
they
gotta
do
be
the
some
under
catch,
20
right?
team,
Yeah.
I think you might be right.
something along those. I think there's age
Is it like
restrictions. I think you're allowed
NBA
like
where it used to be
three.
college basketball was only allowed in or something.
Something
like
along those, but I think you're only allowed like 3 guys over 20, 22 maybe.
Yeah.
There's some sort of exemption, so it's like,
Yeah, because they're like a young team. Because a lot of those guys don't even like make it then to the World Cup team.
nah. But they're like, hey, like, plus it's like, a lot of these guys are playing professional, whatever. But
that. So what's up in the world of Clinton Gate?
I don't know anything about Clinton Gate.
You know everything about Clinton Gate.
I feel like I don't. I just feel like it just makes me really angry when you hear the sums of money they're getting thrown around.
How much is it?
I don't know. The last headline I was reading was about arms deals, which we're selling arms all over the place all the time.
oh yeah,
But at the same thing, it was a dramatic increase in arms, and the companies that were manufacturing the arms, and the companies that were manufacturing the arms, and the countries that were receiving and making these deals, and the banks that were also facilitating these deals, were all funneling huge sums of money right around the same time. So deals are being made at a pretty high frequency.
Interesting.
And there's other activities where also money was coming in from the people that she was directly.
Go on. She was directly connected to them, so it kind of seems like there might be
Well, it's
some
just-
quid
they say,
pro.
Yeah.
Quid pro.
It seems like the RICO
You know what I'm
laws.
saying.
The RICO laws should fucking kick into effect, and they should be just fucking doing a formal investigation.
Who? That's a good point. Who actually enforces those laws that nobody's actually
Pretty sure the
enforcing?
FBI usually is.
Oh, the
takes
FBI.
takes the reins on those types of investigations.
it just seems so ballsy.
But actually,
after-
it's international, so it might be
That's
the
what I'm
CIA.
saying. Like somebody should be on that.
Which
But it
has
just
close
seems
ties with the CIA.
it seems so ballsy to just be like, all right, Bill Clinton, he's kind of always done his thing where he's like governor, worked his way up, president, boom, out of the game. And how old was he when he was done being president? Like fairly young.
50 something.
He was definitely
late 50s,
using
I think.
Viagra or
And then it's
Cialis.
just sort of like you fucking did your thing, like you did it probably the worst, most brazen way. You made all your money. It's like, all right, you get to be out at an early age, done, do your thing. And it's like his wife's like, my turn, go, like become state senator of New York, and then just start doing your own fucking crazy fucking thing, like.
Oh yeah, they went hard.
And then she's like,
She
like,
says she's for the common man.
I really don't think so. No.
I feel like people are gonna see through that.
I feel like
I hope, you know what? Okay, I don't agree with all Democratic ideas, but I just wish I didn't hear so many Democrats support her because she doesn't stand for a lot of democratic principles.
She really
She
doesn't.
loves war. She supports the huge banks, and she is totally self-serving and an elitist.
here's the problem.
She's a complete elitist.
She's I think she's trying to use the same playbook Bill used, only it's not working because people, it's not the same group of people. Like, you can't just be like, hey, I'll just take all this money from all these people, and no one, and it's like, that's very easy to find out who you're taking.
But they keep lying about it. That's the crazy
Yeah,
thing.
but that's the thing. They just because Bill could just lie shit away. Look at him like in the 90s. He's like, I did not do that with her. Like,
What's the
he
difference
literally just wanted to
is-
do that. I was like, oh, you caught me, my bad.
I mean, they weren't even supposed to take any money from foreign countries while she was Secretary of State.
That's
Like,
the
they said that.
big
And
catch there.
And they just did it, and they're like, oh yeah, we did. And then coincidentally, a lot of the countries that were giving her money were the same countries that she was signing deals off with. You know, like trade deals or not
It's
trade
very
deals.
like it's very brazen, and that's what I mean. Like, it seemed like it's like she doesn't know that you're not supposed to do that. Like, I'm sure it's happened before in the past.
She knows, yeah. I mean,
But it's like, oh.
I like what you said about going off the same playbook, because she is, and I feel like she's going to have this hard wake-up call, because I think she's even getting it now from her own left party, because she's trying to do the same thing that worked for Clinton, but now it's 20 years later. We went through this bullshit in
We have the
Iraq,
internet.
the terrorists. We do have the better internet, and
Yeah.
we had the fucking recession after Bill, whatever he did. But the point is, the demographic has changed. Plus, we got a whole generation of kids with, debt and this bleak outlook for their.
Yeah, it's like not good.
So it's just like, you can't keep parroting these old phrases and these old ideas and think they're going to work
It's
again.
like 10 years later after your husband left,
And that's the thing with-
we're kind of dealing with some of the things that he started and kind of dealt
Well,
with.
that's the thing.
Like,
I have to at least be a guy from the left and be like the Jeb Bush thing. I'm like, it's not as bad as Clinton because he hasn't had his hands in other people's pockets. But people are like, oh, maybe Jeb Bush should be president again. I'm like, fuck you. Are you kidding me? We've had two Bushes already and they weren't that great.
Really can't.
Oh yeah, I mean it's starting to just seem that much more obvious that it's a good old boys club on both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely.
Because here's another thing. Did you hear about that Russian deal with the uranium companies?
Ooh,
That they
did.
So
Sorry.
like back in like 2013 or so, like there was a Russian company that really had interest in a U.S. and Canadian-based uranium refining company, if I remember correctly, and through one of his private charities or organizations, he gave them $2.35 million to the Clinton Foundation, just conveniently. It needed to be signed off by the State Department. And then also, this is a Russian company, the Russians give Bill $500,000, $500,000 to come speak at a thing at the Kremlin.
Damn, I'll take
and
that.
then Hillary just signs off on it, deal made, and they buy the majority stake, or if not this whole U.S. uranium refining company. And you're like, and they say, oh no, that has nothing to do with each other. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It obviously does.
Yeah.
Like, this is really like, you're just going to do stuff that's this obvious and lie about it, so like, just be really confident when you lie to the entire American people.
Dude, you
And
remember
it just
how
keeps happening.
he looked right into the camera and was like, I
Did not
didn't
have-
do that.
Yeah,
And
he
then I was
did.
just like, he did. He just
Multiple
lied.
women.
Yeah. He just lied to her face like that. Like,
I feel like there's some kind of Jedi mind trick you learn in Ivy League schools when it comes to being like a politician. Maybe not just Ivy League, maybe if you're successful, you just learn this
to an Ivy
ability.
League school?
No, but everyone's from an Ivy League school, so I'm prejudiced naturally.
I've hung out in Ivy League school, and I would pretty much confirm your theory, because a lot
Oh,
of
okay.
them have like this aura about them, where like, I don't know, you're just like, wow. Like,
Did I indirectly insult you?
I didn't go to an Ivy League
I was
school.
gonna say, I'm like, I didn't think you went to, technically, you went to a good school. But
No, I
was
didn't go
Ivy
to one,
League.
but I visited some
Okay.
Ivy League schools.
Just for the
No, I
record.
visited one Ivy League school, and it was a totally different, like, they had fucking bouncers with earpieces at all of the parties.
Oh man,
Like, big motherfuckers, and if you weren't on the list, you didn't get into the party.
I can believe that.
And a lot of these kids, just you could tell they like were very. No, I didn't fit in there. No, no.
Okay.
That's all I went to. It's nothing like.
But yeah, it's just like one of those things where it just there's like this art to lying where it's like, oh, I know how to lie, so I won't get caught lying.
I'm that kind
Or even if I do get caught lying, I'm gonna make you believe that it's not a big deal, or I'm gonna make you forget about it. It's just like, oh, let's just forget about this. Let's worry about this. I just, notice in politicians, you get older, we're getting older, and you see how this works now, and you're just like, oh, there's a definite system of how to deal with human beings. And if human beings would rather believe something's like peachy keen and sweet and swell, they'll go toward that route if they're pushed that way.
Yeah, we're pain averse.
Yeah.
So we don't want to.
But if you're open to the idea, like, oh, this person's lying to me, I don't trust them, even though they're in a position of power, then it kind of.
It's like when people say the economy is in worse shape than it was back in 2008. And it's just like on that much, like the House of Cards has only gotten more top heavy. And if you're like, no, everything's great, the stock market, I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it seems.
Yeah, we're just putting off the inevitable because we don't want to actually have the correction that needs
This
to
is
be
a
made.
game of Jenga. Like it's gonna end. It's just a matter of who does it. You know what I mean?
Luckily,
Like,
we're still
little-
pretty long. Like, I'm hoping it, knock on wood, I don't want it to collapse. Like, I wish it would just slowly correct itself and everything would happen naturally and everything would go well, but I don't think it's going to
A
happen.
slow correction would be nice.
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, maybe it will. Maybe we'll just have stagflation for a while, but part of me sometimes just wants to see, like, something ugly just happen and just get it over with.
That would be super
And
nice.
so we can just rebuild and everything's great because there'll be so many opportunities and everything would, like, we'll all just be in, like, I don't know.
Well, there's some people we're talking about in the economic world that I read through over the week. Instead of the crash being slow. Oh no, here it was. The worry about delaying the crash is that it can just make the crash bigger in the future. Some people like to argue that. It's like, we need to have a crash now before it gets even worse.
But maybe I'll be better off when the crash happens. Maybe I can somehow position myself better
Yeah.
I think there's a
for
good.
when it does crash.
I really think that when you read some of the things that are going on around the world, that everyone's getting ready for a major world war.
I like how you said that the way you did,
Well,
Rodney.
You look at, I mean, several countries are starting to pull back their gold reserves from foreign central banks.
Mhm.
Alliances are being made strategically all across Europe.
Oh man.
You know, I mean, the Middle East even. I mean, you
Middle
look
East
at
is
you look at
very
what
stabilized.
you look at some of the infrastructure that China's building in the, like they're building literally islands with lighthouses on them.
And
in the South
aren't we,
China Seas.
like fighting them
Well,
for it, or
I mean,
disputing it?
their navy in that area makes ours look like fucking toys. So,
Yeah.
like, if things really got down to it, like, we'd have to put a lot more resources in that region. But I mean, it's like Japan and like a lot of those other countries in that area that are like, what the fuck? I mean,
Hey everybody.
and then you also have the situation in Ukraine, and then you have Russia and China getting all buddy-buddy, almost like you're going to have like the China front with us and Japan, and then you're going to have the Russian front with Europe, and then eventually Russia and China will probably start fighting each other as well because they don't actually like each other.
No, I feel like they don't get along that well.
And then you have the Middle East. I mean, so you also have like a lot of focus on trying to fight this ISIS entity, and it could get really ugly really quickly.
It just seems like I think we have the advantage just because we've been ramping our military up past 12 years. Like we know how to expand it very quickly. You know what I mean? Like we already have.
We can't even fight boogeymen in caves that are barely are armed. How are we going to fight a completely industrialized military at a
That's
large
true.
scale? Like maybe we'll do well, but you look at like how we're doing.
I think it's almost easier to fight something that's
Slow moving.
organized and slow. I mean, this fucking terrorist thing is just some fucking crazy guy coming out of the woods, kind of. Like someone just
Suicide
like,
bombs.
yeah, people just
It's
like,
like kamikazes though. Like,
That's
imagine if like China's like the new kamikaze,
oh my god.
and they're just like, yeah, we have these fucking.
We have 1 billion. We'll just send. We have 1 billion people.
We'll send 500,000 over
These
here.
really cheap planes we make, and they just
Yeah.
come over to the United States and crash into
We just
California.
make suicide seem like a good idea.
Oh
Your
man.
family gets lots of fucking free beanie babies.
Yeah, there you go.
The Pentagon just admitted, I shouldn't laugh, it accidentally mailed live anthrax to labs.
I saw that.
That I heard this morning. I was just
How do
like,
you accidentally?
how do you accidentally do that?
That's not an accident.
It can't be an accident, right?
Someone did that too early. Like it was like you weren't supposed to do that yet. Oh,
This was the test run, damn it.
Yeah, they're just like, no, like, but I think that's one of the things we said earlier. When you hear something weird and bizarre, you don't question. You're like, oh, what a dummy. Like, just some guy, like, putting anthrax in the mail like a dumb.
That happens every time.
And it's like, wait a minute, like, how did that happen? We need to read,
Well, the
like,
weird-
you need to explain to us what happened.
do you remember
in
the
detail.
anthrax attacks from earlier?
Like 2003?
Yeah, they never really figured out who did that.
No, they really didn't. You're just like, yeah, some guy had
They
it.
kept blaming it on people, and then it kept coming out that they weren't the people, and then they never really. Just kind of was like,
News
"Oh."
cycle swallow.
And it's like there aren't a lot of places to get anthrax. Like that's not something you just get on the street.
Why do you just mail it out to people?
Yeah, it's,
Well, that's what's weird.
And
is
then
that it's
toward
happening
South
again.
Korea, yeah.
South Korea?
That's who it was mailed to.
I don't
We
know.
mailed some to South Korea too.
They're like, what do you got? Just, it's almost like keeping on your toes. Like, what happens when you mail someone anthrax?
Maybe they were supposed to mail it to North Korea.
Yeah,
What if it was just
maybe
a
it's a
big-
plan to get Kim Jong Un when they wrote
Maybe,
it.
what if it was just a hilarious prank they played to each other? Like, there was like other people that were working on it, just like, they'd be like, oh my god, do you remember when they sent us that vial of like HIV or like AIDS? Like, no, we're gonna get back. We're gonna send them anthrax this week and see how they deal. Like,
And they're like,
That's like a sitcom right there.
And now they're like,
The
oh,
Pentagon.
and they're like, oh shit, they took it to the press. Like, that's a fucking party foul, guys.
Yeah, we were
those
together ass.
bitches. They're just like snitches.
Yeah. Now we're gonna start World War III because you snitched on us, bitch.
Just get mustard gas. Just like, oh no.
Dude, you wonder, like, I mean, obviously people have egos. Like, you're talking about, like, this, like, people being assholes and getting people
Yeah.
back for shit. Like, you wonder, at what level does that happen? Like, how
Just,
fucked up does that shit get it sometimes? Does
That
that...
would be the best. Oh, that would be so much fun.
Yo, we're gonna nuke you motherfuckers. Boom.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna.
When is that gonna happen? I feel like it's just a matter of time before
You
someone
need
says, oh,
society to break down a little more before that starts.
I don't
happening.
think we're gonna ever.
ISIS is
everything.
talking about having a nuke soon. Or
That's,
already having
that's
a
the
nuke.
people who would do it, though.
They said they are. I feel like they've read articles that say we already
there-
have a nuke and we're going to launch it or like blow it up within a few months.
Those people are fucking psychos. Like, they don't have respect for human life. Most psychos kind of just want money or sex or whatever. These people want to fucking kill
They
people.
want sex.
Well, they get that.
They want women.
But they
and
also want
drugs.
to destroy the infidels or whatever the fuck
It's
they
crazy
believe.
that they just want to kill all of us, and yet they like doing a lot of the things that they say they hate all of us for doing.
Yeah. So they need to be stopped, personally. That's how I feel about it.
I don't even know what.
Damn it!
I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Damn it! Let's kill them all.
What's going on?
Turn them all. All
What's going
green
on
glass.
with the TPP, by the way? We didn't talk about that yet. Nobody knows what's going on.
Well,
with
no
that.
one fucking knows.
No one knows.
If people have specific issues with it, I'd like them to be raised. If people raise issues or release any leaks, they will be prosecuted.
All right, any hands?
That's so weird. They're like, meanwhile, we are listening to all of your phone conversations and text messages and emails. So, just
So
to
go
refresh
ahead.
your course. Just to refresh your course.
Go
we
for it,
know
guys.
Everything about you.
Talk about it.
He's stroking a rifle.
Yeah. We know everything about you, and it is illegal for you to learn anything about us. Just so we're clear.
John, you got a colonoscopy. It's a colonoscopy last week.
Like,
Now say something.
move all of your naked pictures everywhere.
Jim, you're sleeping with a prostitute.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
But the thing I don't like about it is, we'll stick on it a little bit, is companies from other countries, conglomerates if you will, can sue our sovereign government or even our companies for future profits that don't even exist yet, just on the basis of maybe environmental protection or just land rights, or if you're like a local company trying to, fight the big man or just have your own business. I say fight the big man because I like the little guy, but it's not really fighting the man, it's just trying to own your own business. If you're trying to fight for your own right to have a business in this country and the conglomerate says, oh, we have this right because of international treaties that you never got to read, that sucks for everybody.
Yeah.
I feel anyway. And
I feel like we should have a right to read it and then respond and be like, and then just have someone explain to you, this is what it means for you. Like, this
Right.
is what this trade agreement means for you. Do you want that to happen?
It's very creepy.
Julia Assange, just so everybody knows who listens, all of you.
No one listens, Derrick.
1 week they will, Rodney.
Damn it.
Julian Assange leaked 5 chapters of the 24.
Are they the real chapters?
I believe they are. I trust these guys. They're fucking crazy ass
You trust
hackers. I trust crazy hackers, apparently. That's where my bar
I
is.
really like anonymous. Like sometimes I do something stupid. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, get him.
Right.
I wish they would do more of that, though.
Where they're just sort of like, oh, hey, this company was doing this and that wasn't cool, so anonymous just crashed the service. And you're like, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I
I
mean,
feel like they rarely do anything, though.
yeah, they really.
I do like sometimes when
I
they
read a couple of them got taken down and then had to.
They got
Oh,
taken
okay.
down. He had
Is
to
that
give
why?
up 6 of his partners with the original leader of it, and now he works for the FBI. He had to give up like 6 of his partners.
so that's why.
I had to put a plug out for a show I like that's coming out this summer on USA, Mr. Robot. it's about a hacker who.
Boo!
Wait, the original anonymous
USA
guy
is
got
not
caught?
a good network.
The show's good. It won some Tribeca Film Festival awards.
The original anonymous guy got caught?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a documentary you can watch about that. But there's people trying to like pick it up. But what they do is sometimes take down Westboro Baptist church
Oh yeah,
sites.
they do that, but I feel
They
like
went
that's kind of
after
amateurish.
Muslim people who were hating on Charlie Hebdo back in the day.
When did they get caught?
I feel like this was like 2 or 3 years ago now.
Oh wow.
But
It's
yeah,
been
this
trying
is-
to be
So they
maintained
still
by
have-
other vigilantes, but I don't think anyone's as ballsy as they were. Because they were really fucking going.
And they were very good. Like I think they used to take out banking websites.
Yeah.
And then it turned into now it's like, we'll go up to Westboro Baptist because they pay like $30 a week for their server,
Yeah.
and that's super easy to do. But before it was like, so they get like 50 people to just all start like whatever. These people would be like, okay, we're gonna hack into like 30,000 computers and fucking, they're all gonna do these things, and it's like boom, like Bank of America's website is gonna be down for like until they can figure out what we did.
Well, what's happening now is like fucking Target got hit last November or whatever, pretty hard by some hackers, and some big companies got hit by
IRS got
That
hackers.
was 2 Novembers ago.
I
was
want
like-
the fucking people who are stealing money to like come to the good side, the light side, and start fucking hacking for anonymous instead of stealing money or information.
Yeah, the IRS got hit, right?
Yeah. Well, some people might say that was a good thing, but I don't know if I agree with
The
that.
IRS getting hit was a good thing?
I said some people would say
Who
that.
would think that's a good thing for people's private information to get out there?
I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying that's the position
No, but
they're
what was
coming
the,
from.
what was the good? But what would they say was good?
Oh, because they don't like the government collecting their money for using it for war and blah 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 blah.
I mean, that's fine, but still, it's just social security numbers, their tax returns, their W-2s,
That's always the problem with hacking.
their addresses.
Is when you do it, the release of information is usually the problem. Like when Snowden redacted a lot of information, he did it carefully. I forget the other guy, maybe it was Manning, where he just released everything blanket, and you could see like, things that you shouldn't
AKA
know.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
I don't understand that still. Okay,
But-
we talked about that.
But there's a point when you hack, you gotta kind of hack responsibility. Julian Assange, he's the one. I watched The Fifth Estate, and that was a documentary on him.
Is he still?
They
in
just
jail somewhere?
usually release everything.
Is he under house arrest?
No, he's in Sweden releasing stuff. He's the one releasing stuff on the TPP now. Sweden's giving him amnesty.
Oh, they have.
I think it's
Yeah.
Sweden.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Switzerland.
Neat.
He was in jail for a while, wasn't he?
I don't think
I
he ever
think he
actually.
it was weird. He was just
Or was he under house arrest or
he was
something?
under house arrest. I
That's
think.
probably what it was.
Like held up in like an embassy somewhere and he couldn't leave or he would
What's
get
his
arrested.
background? I know he ran WikiLeaks, but what is it?
I have no idea.
He's like a shadow figure, to be honest.
Is that always his background? Like a shadowy man that now has become.
If you watch The
popular?
Fifth Estate, because I watched that movie, that's supposed to be a little bit of a bio about him, and it's kind of like he doesn't really appear until like age 29 or something like that. And
Really?
I'm sure he was doing other stuff and probably into computer hacking.
Yeah,
But it
that's
seemed
what-
like he was never really successful, and
Like,
he was
where's
always
he-
kind of like mentally weird. So it's kind of like he just took that weirdness and channeled it into
Where's he
hacking.
from?
Australia, and that makes sense. I was going to say New Zealand because
Where did he go? Was he educated in Australia, or did he go to like England or United States?
Publisher and journalist. So he was probably a journalist before he got
Okay.
into this.
Where at? I'm just trying to get a background on this guy. That's all. I'm like, all of a sudden he's just like weird sex monger that has secrets.
They're saying the sex stuff was just, negative PR put out by people who hate him. I don't know if that's true or not, but people do weird things.
No, we never do weird things. We never do weird things.
Australia. Yeah. Well, one thing now that I'm researching some stuff, I did want to talk about this week. Might be short. There was an uproar about Pac Sun this week.
Oh,
Displayed-
Son, that's my favorite store, bro.
Oh, is it bra? You know the
It's
surface
a good
store?
store, man.
I like this store.
That's
There's
where I bought my belts.
okay.
Yeah, very nice belts.
To plug. We're Pac Sun if they'd like to sell some belts.
sell us some belts. Or send us some belts, not sell.
They were promoting a shirt with
Everyone needs belts.
They do.
Belts,
They really
belts.
do. You got to keep your pants up.
Keep your
Legally,
pants on.
you're supposed to keep your pants up and on. So they were selling a shirt that had an upside down American flag on it. Upset some veterans.
Oh, man.
So they pulled it. I respect veterans. I love them. And it's been Memorial Day weekend, so I think that was part of the uproar. But at the same time, I'm like, you're allowed to show that, and it's not really offensive. An upside down American flag, as I learned as a Boy Scout, just means a distress symbol. Like if you're in a building, has a flag outside of it, and you were distressed, you hang upside down. Hopefully the captor doesn't realize that you did it, and then people would come and check it out.
Oh, that's good to know.
Where did you learn that?
Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
So,
Good tip.
yeah.
Tip of the day.
So when I see that,
Tip of the day.
T-shirt, I'm like,
I think you need to say that again. Tip of the day.
Tip of the day.
If you're in distress
If
in a
you're in
building.
distress in a building, if you can get to it, hang a flag on a flagpole upside down, and police will come and check it out because it's a national distress sign. So,
Very good,
I
Derrick.
guess people don't know that now. I'm surprised you two didn't know that.
I probably was taught that at some point, but I feel like I forgot.
So when I see this on a T-shirt, I'm like, that's not offensive. It's just a political suggestion that a lot of young people have. It's like, hey, it looks like America's under distress now, and wearing a
So
T-shirt.
wait, if you hung a flag upside down in front of your house and you just had it there, cops would stop?
I've heard stories of people did it at like restaurants. They did it accidentally.
Like
and
what
cops
if
would do it.
someone, what if someone
what's
did
going
it
on?
as like a form of protest?
So that's the thing. If people did it as a
Would
form
you
of
get in
protest,
trouble?
you shouldn't get in trouble. You should
You're
be
just
corrected.
like,
You should
yeah,
be
like I think this is bullshit. The way that like we're treating people and fucking or
This
like
country's upside down.
this country's upside down. Or like I'm protest, so I am in distress because my country's so. And it's like okay, you don't really have a real reason. Like,
Right.
There's nothing.
But if it's on a T-shirt, it's different. Like if
Yeah,
you're
it's not real.
actually hanging a flag upside down, it means distress.
God damn.
If you're expressing yourself saying, "I think this country's in distress," so I'm
T-shirt.
putting on a T-shirt. I was okay with Pakistan doing it. And I even thought about
They got in
personally.
trouble?
I'll go on record saying I could buy a T-shirt like that.
They got in trouble?
They got a lot of uproar from military
Veterans.
folks, and they
I
pulled
think
it
some
out of
people
respect.
just literally get excited from being offended. Like they like
Yeah.
the idea of being, or like pointing something out and being like, I'm gonna be upset, and then I'm gonna write about it on Facebook, and then people are gonna comment, and I'm gonna like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think some people just really feel that way. I don't think anyone's really that super pissed about it.
Right. How do you guys feel about burning the flag?
I don't really like that. I don't like
Yeah.
burning anyone's flag.
No, it's not
I
a
think
good
burning
idea.
stuff just in general is just a really hateful thing.
Yeah.
Or breaking something. It's kind of just like, how about we talk about it? How about you?
Yeah.
How about you tell us?
I
what-
personally
didn't
wouldn't
burn
do
anything.
What are
it.
you upset about?
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't do it, but when I see other people do it, I would probably go, hey, because sometimes people on the left get really hippie about it, and they'll, like in the 70s, they used to burn flags. And I imagine if I was in the 70s, I'd probably agree with some of what they were saying.
I feel like
but
it's really disrespectful.
I'd probably be like, we could probably show a different way to show our distaste for the government.
I mean, I
But
don't
I
think that's
still
showing
don't think they-
distaste for the government. I think that's showing distaste for all American people.
Yeah.
I mean, when you burn it, like, or if you burn anyone else's flag, it's like you can be really upset about things, but like, I mean, I think at some point, I hope at some point, there isn't like this idea of countries, and it's just the idea of the human race on Earth. That's just fucking shit. We just all get along.
Right.
It's not gonna probably happen within our lifetime, but just to burn someone else's like symbol, it's just.
Mhm. But that's all it is. It's just a symbol, right?
Right. I mean, but so why? I mean, you're obviously trying to get attention, right?
Right.
So it's a way of getting attention,
Right.
and you know it's inflammatory,
Right.
literally,
What if that's, what's it called? Strategy.
to get attention.
Now, see, this is where I disagree with people who might do it. I'm like, I don't think it's a good strategy, but they see it as a good strategy to get attention because they're a cause that doesn't get that much attention.
Well, I feel like it's a kind of like a childish way to get attention.
Probably. But do they have the right to do it?
I mean, I don't think people should go to jail for that.
Right.
Like, I think it's if you're burning something in an area where there shouldn't be open fires, then I think that you could get in trouble for that. It's like you're intentionally lighting something on fire in an area where you should not be just starting fires. Like,
Mhm.
this is because it might seem stupid, but why should you just be starting a fire somewhere?
Please don't start a fire.
Yeah, like, we don't encourage this. This is how a building then get. It's like, oh, we didn't realize that this tree was really dry, and then you dropped it. You know, like.
Yeah. I get that. Like I said, I personally wouldn't burn a flag because I actually do respect what it stands for. But when I see other people do it, I just think they're naive or maybe childish or just don't understand or just like.
If they do it in like they have like a fire pit and they have it really safe, they have like a bucket of water and they're like, no, this is set up for this. It's like, all right, you can do this. This is weird, but yeah, no, I don't. It's like almost like freedom of speech.
Right. That's kind
I
of
mean,
how
it
I
is
feel
freedom
about
of speech.
it. Like they're allowed to do it, but I don't want them to do it.
But it's like, yeah, like if someone went outside and just started burning a Puerto Rican flag, Like that would really upset a lot of people.
I feel like if you do it, someone's gonna be like, "Hey man, like why?" Like generally, this is how it should go. Hey, you're burning the flag. Like, why are you doing that? Like, what the fuck? And then like you have to. If you have a good reason, like whatever. If you have a good reason to do it, and someone's like, okay. But if like you don't, be prepared to get beat up.
Right, it could happen.
Like if someone's like, "Why are you doing that?" And you don't really have a good reason to do it. Like it's not a legitimate one. You're just doing it because you feel like doing it, or like I'm not a big fan of it. You're right. I think there's a million different ways, but like be prepared to answer for why you're doing it. And if someone doesn't like it, they're probably gonna come after you pretty hard.
I have sociopathic self-drive cars. That's one I'm finding.
Isn't that just like some sci-fi movies?
That's basically what Conspiracy Corner is.
What happens? Cars become sentient and they become psychos.
Yeah, they gotta set people. And you have to. There's a movie we watched the other night, and we didn't finish watching it, but or do I don't know. So often we start a movie and I just fall asleep. It's like right before I go to bed. It's like movie. But there's this premise where there are these crazy fucking cars, and you have to like buy them rims. Like make them happy. They're like self-driving cars, and they feel like people.
What are you watching?
And you have to talk to them.
Oh my god.
And you were like,
we gotta get you like a what's hot list. Apparently, I don't know what you're watching.
I feel like some people are like, a lot of people ask that question, like, oh, well, what if the car malfunctions and fucking just.
Did you see that video of that one recently, the Volvo? Did you guys see that video? It was in headlines. Dude, the Volvo had an option. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Had an option for the people sensor. So it's like it had sensors built in for large objects, and apparently it was optional for something like smaller objects. That was an option. And someone bought the car without that, and it was like doing the self-parking thing. And there are all these journalists like standing several feet away from the front of it while it was like starting to come in. But it just fucking like accelerated very quickly and just slammed into like all of them. Like including the person filming and like,
oh my god,
no.
Oh, it was just like, who thought it was a good idea to have that as an option? Like that's obviously
that is the worst.
Like if someone walks in front of the
it's like,
car,
we're
the
gonna
car
do
should
it,
try
do
to
it.
stop and swerve. It shouldn't just plow through people.
But it's like it scans for like the chip in your credit card and sees if you're worth stopping for.
Nope.
If not, sorry.
Sorry.
That's insane.
Oh no, I was gonna say, a lot of people sometimes debate like, hey, like like if you have these self-driving cars, like, what if this happens and the car malfunctions and it like rams into other cars? It's like that happens now with people doing it. It's like it's like
Exactly.
it's like
I think cars.
it's like it's probably just gonna cut down. Like if we can get less
They're gonna get
people
closer. It's
killed.
gonna almost be like trains. I think when a car can drive down the city.
What?
He's actually went so fast. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that fast.
You have to watch.
Oh no.
It's just bouncing. Why would they think it's a good idea to stand in front of it? Why would you think it's a good idea to stand in front of it?
Company
Sometimes?
ruined, man. Company ruined. What's so much faster than accelerated?
Yeah. It didn't stop until it hit them.
It was like going 0 to 60.
Yeah. Whoa. It was like you just hit something pretty big.
Abort.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
What were we talking about? I'm
So
sorry.
self-driving cars might.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna have mistakes, but it's like, how's that any different than someone getting wasted and like
Running into a bunch of
running
people.
over a bunch of people?
Like a kid learning how to drive and thinking he has it in park, and then.
What if robots could get wasted? Like they had the wrong
I think it's
motor
interesting.
oil or something.
Or what if like you're just having robots work? Like if robots started to become really sentient, and it was like the idea of like, I don't want to work anymore. I want to go home and relax.
Yeah,
I
something
don't
like,
want to like you can't force me to work.
or you can't
Okay.
destroy a robot once it's like
Like
broken.
yeah, or that like.
Like, oh, my robot's not working. I'm just gonna scrap him. Like, you can't scrap a robot. It's
There
a
are needs.
worker. Like, it has rights.
Give
has
it
been-
power. Put it on.
And then,
someone
like,
for
and then some
someone.
people are gonna like want robots should be able to vote. It's like, are you kidding me? They're fucking robots.
What have we done?
Like, we're just gonna stop making
And
robots
then,
now.
and then it'll be like all the movies, and they just figure out the robots figure out we can be.
There'll be like
used as fuel.
100 robots left.
The
and then
people
they-
are fuel, or the robots.
Yeah.
And then we
You
realized,
get it down to like 100 robots, and then they would just be like, well, we're going to start building other robots. And we're like, well, we can't stop you from doing that.
they're better than us.
Oh shit!
And they make all these robots, and like, now we run shit.
Now you're our slaves.
We live forever. Like, you're done. Oh, man.
Futurama and Terminator are always
Yeah, they kind of are calling
correct.
for that.
Right.
It's like, bitch. You funny word.
Everything I've needed to know, I've learned from Matt Groening. How do you say his name? The creator of Simpsons and Futurama.
If we're just old men and that's what's happening, it's like, oh shit, the robots are taking over.
We're taking over. Like, man,
We're just like three old guys. Like, remember when we were talking about this when we were in our 30s? And
Yeah, but it's all just coming. It wasn't all those Hollywood producers.
we have it on YouTube. No one believes us, but it's on YouTube.
I stole it from a movie. Remember
Yeah,
those
other
movies?
people call for
Remember
this.
those movies they made where this was a big joke? It couldn't happen, and it did. We saw it coming.
Motherfuckers.
They just took us over pretty quickly.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, even Rand Paul said Republicans are responsible for ISIS, apparently.
Yeah, I feel like, how do you say just Republicans? Isn't it just government in general?
I think that's probably what he's going for. I think his angle is probably like the government's too big and our Republican Party is part of
The problem.
the problem.
Yeah.
That's the interesting thing about Rand Paul is like I don't agree with some of the stuff he comes out of his mouth, but sometimes I'm like I sometimes like it, but
I don't like him as much as Ron Paul, but
yeah.
I like him more than some people. I still like I'm a pretty big fan of Benjamin Carson, and everyone just trashes him because they say he doesn't have enough experience. And I'm like, that's kind of what I like. He's a really smart guy that seems to like to surround himself with smart people.
Like Obama.
I don't think.
I'm just saying people just give shit for Obama not being experienced
I mean,
in 2008.
yeah, in terms of like leading a government, but I
Yeah.
think Benjamin Carson seems a lot fucking smarter than Barack Obama. Like,
Back
he's a
off.
fucking brain surgeon.
Well, yeah, it's not necessarily mean he's good in politics.
Politics, that's
Politics is a different art than science, man.
no politics. That's what's politics is ridiculous. Politics shouldn't be politics. It,
It
should
shouldn't
be
be,
facts.
but
That's
if
what I
you're
mean.
going to deal in reality, man.
No, it's not reality. It's changing reality. It's changing horizons. It's bringing in people that have new ideas and cut ties with all the corruption. Because if you have new people come in, they won't have any of that bullshit. That's what we need. We need fresh blood. Something like 70% of federal politicians have been serving for over 20 years. That's the fucking problem. They're all fucking buddy-buddy and doing fucked up shit. And slapping high fives behind all of our backs.
Well, here's the thing: when in 2008, on our side, we thought Obama was going to be the guy.
Obama's a fucking joke. He's look at where
What's
his
going
money came
to
from.
prevent Mr. Carson from being a joke in 4 years if he would get that far?
Dude, I'm just saying he doesn't have. He did not come up being a social servant in a corrupt city like Chicago, where he
That's
had
true.
corrupt ties to organizations like Acorn, who have been found to have really fucked up policies in terms of trying to do community organization events, which really they knew were just had. I don't need to go into it like that. I mean, they had totally different career paths.
But if the system's corrupt, does it matter who leads it?
I think it does.
Okay.
I think if someone.
Well, that's a valid argument. I'm just arguing that
if someone
maybe
would
at this point it's
call it
too
out and
yeah.
say how fucked up it is.
But people have been trying to run on that, and then they just lie. Liars. They turn out to be liars.
Yeah, that's
So
what
my
happens
point is,
when you
we've
look
lost trust in anybody who's good anymore, which is part of the
at the people
problem.
that come up in politics, but all we're fed are people that come up in politics.
Mm-hmm.
So
I get what you're saying. I'm
he's
just
one of the
making you
few-
say it in a different way.
He's one of the few people that are coming up that do not have any political ties.
Right.
Really. I mean, I think he does have an agenda still, but
Yeah.
everyone has an agenda. I just appreciate the fact that he doesn't have these deep-rooted connections in the political machines that I think are totally corrupted.
I get that. I don't know enough about him to say anything else, but I had to at least vet you.
Read up on him.
Yeah. I just figure at this point he's not.
You might not agree with all of his policies
Worthy
and
to-
deals.
Oh, just for me, it's like I feel like he's such an outlier that I'm
You
like he's
won't
not worth
agree
my
with all of
time.
his ideas, for sure.
Probably not, but me being the socialist Bernie Sanders supporter that I am, apparently. Democratic socialist, by the way.
What do you like about socialism?
It serves its people better.
It serves its people better.
Yes.
Can you give an example of why it serves its people better?
Because people won't die because they can't afford health care, education, or food.
Can you explain, like, North Korea?
Well, that's different because that's a dictatorship.
It's a socialist country.
Yes. The point Bernie Sanders is trying to make
Do you think power given to a central government completely is not completely
No.
corrupting?
What Bernie Sanders is going to do and is doing is trying to reform this attack that the right has on people who like to support the poor and the,
No, it's just like this has been tested before in several examples throughout history.
But I'm telling you, it's a different tactic.
Everyone says
not real socialism.
Everyone says when they get in charge that they're not going to be like that, and then it happens. This has happened several times throughout history where people say
But we still,
they run
but we
these same
still live in
principles.
America, and we still have checks and balances. Bernie Sanders isn't going to be able to do everything you think he wants to do. Just as Obama has not been able to do anything close to what he wanted to do.
He's done a lot. All you need is martial law in a huge world war, and you have control over everything. And you can change all laws. That's when a lot of things happen like that.
Not if people pay attention.
And then when you have
Not if people pay attention.
And then when you also have a system where you have complete knowledge of everything everyone's doing, and you know everyone who is not completely obedient and doesn't suck the cock of the government, you know where all of those people are. It's really easy to wrangle them up, circle them, shut them the fuck up, and then
Yeah, but Bernie wants to destroy all that stuff. He doesn't like the NSA.
Really?
Yes, he's an independent. He doesn't take money from these people that the other two sides do. He's running as a Democratic because he knows that's his only chance.
Where does his money come from?
He's
We should
getting
look
for
at
small
that.
donors right now.
He takes it from the Teamsters Union, so...
He is a union guy, but that's, for me, is an okay thing.
Well, a lot of the unions are pretty creepy when you look at the stuff that they do.
I'll agree with that, but I trust them more than I do people who don't care about people.
So, yeah, it's mostly unions, all unions.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
Huh.
Yeah, he can go fuck himself.
Let your voice be heard, Rodney.
I mean,
That's where we generally disagree, but we've had email disputes about that before.
I think unions were necessary at a certain period of time, but when you look at the global dynamics of the economy that we're in, when you look at unions now, they just lead to inefficiencies. Generally speaking, people continue to ask for more and more and more, even if they know it's more than they deserve or more than it's what should be considered. And there's never an idea if it's enough, and it usually continues to put pressure to the point where you lose the jobs. The system breaks down, you can't afford it. It eventually puts such a strain that it breaks, and that's what you're seeing time and time again. And when you see it in the public sector, where you don't have an alternative, where in the free market, if a company can't afford to compete with companies that are not unionized, they go out of business, or they shut down plants and move elsewhere where unions don't exist. But when you have it in the public sector, where there's no alternative, what does it continue to do? It puts a bigger and larger strain on the public. And there's no alternative. There's no negotiation. It's guaranteed. So it's a joke. It's just more and more money, and it doesn't mean a better return on that money, a better return on that investment, and you're finding that yes, we should be paying for these things, like teachers. They should be getting paid more than they're getting paid right now, but it shouldn't be under the system that we have right now. Because there's a lot of shitty fucking teachers that are making a ton of money because they've been teachers for a while. There's a ton of fucking shitty police officers that are making a ton of fucking money because they've been police officers for a while. And then they have this natural thing where they have to protect each other, and it's not merit-based. And it's broken. It's a flawed system.
And just as there's completely awesome corporate and business leaders and bosses, there's a lot of shitty corporate owners who don't pay their employees well enough, and that's why unions are necessary.
They don't know, but see, that's why you have things like minimum wage. There's all these other things that we put in place. There's minimum wage. There's all these other things like Social Security. There's welfare. There's Medicare. There's Medicaid. There's food stamps. There's all these layers. Like we said, we had to put in these social.
And they wouldn't be necessary if the shitheads didn't actually pay a competitive wage. So
No, a lot of them do.
shit on their own.
No, because the same companies are importing goods. Like, why are they importing goods? Because we can't afford to compete. No, but you can't have it both ways. You can't do that. You can't import cheap goods and then say, we want higher wages for our employees here because the jobs aren't here. There's no jobs.
You can make the goods less cheap, less affordable.
So no one can afford to buy anything anymore.
No, you just make the affordable goods the ones we make ourselves.
They're not affordable. We can't afford to make them ourselves at a competitive wage because everything we're used to buying...
We take care of the competition.
No, but we're buying all that shit from overseas, and you've already gotten people addicted to cheap goods. It's too late. It's already happened. So the change that you want, you can't have it both ways.
So
That's
you're
what I'm
saying
saying.
we're screwed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there we agree. And that's where we have to at least
Like
end
if you
the
want,
show.
well, if you want to let free markets work, if you want to truly let free markets work, then yeah, the price of goods is going to rise dramatically, and then you could afford to pay people a living wage. But you can't do it both ways.
But I think I've discussed before that the free market's kind of a terror of itself because it all leads to monopoly or oligarchy in the end if it's unrestricted.
Usually, actually, the countries that have more restriction and more socialistic ideas, companies grow larger because it's all becomes corrupting. When you have more free markets and more free opportunities, like look at the countries that are the freest in the world, that have the freest markets. They're the ones that are growing the fastest and the largest growing middle classes. Happens time and time again. When governments get too bloated and they have too much interference, that's when corruption takes place. Because there's no, that's when the corruption comes in. Yes, there has to be oversight, but oversight and freedom of people to choose what they purchase with their money. And a freedom to have a currency that they can actually rely on. If we didn't have a banking system which was so manipulated and where currencies, if there was more of a push to save, if you had faith in the dollar to actually maintain value and grow value, people would save their fucking money, right? But because we don't have that, the value of money is not fucking here. Like, there's ridiculous inflation right now. And because of that, that compounds the problem of why you think we need to continue to pay people more and more money. Even though really we're paying people a lot more money in this country than a lot of people are getting paid in other countries. I'm fucking ranting because
I like it.
Loaded, but
I think you would actually like Bernie Sanders a lot more if you actually listened to him. That's all I'm going to say to close it out on.
I don't think I would, because if you agree that you're just going to pay people the same thing,
I think you have a shitty and undeveloped interpretation of Bernie Sanders.
Then fucking explain it now. I don't think that's bullshit for you just to say that. Then teach me.
I don't have time.
Yes, you do. Let's keep going. Fuck that. There's not time.
Bernie Sanders is definitely against.
That's a cop out.
Bernie Sanders is definitely against the same things you're against. He's just.
Then how's he support unions?
Well, not all of it. What you said in the last maybe 5 minutes or so of your last rant about the whole corruption thing. He's fighting corruption.
A lot of unions are completely fucking corrupt.
And why do you think he's automatically corrupt?
That's where all the money's coming from them. That's where all of his money's coming from.
He cares about the people. He's actually a fucking guy who cares about the people. He's run so many campaigns as an independent.
How many years has he been in politics?
27.
Then you think he really cares about
He's
people?
been the only guy who's been running independent, and he's been kicking people's asses from the left and the right for 20 fucking years. How can you not trust a guy who's been out for the people for 20 fucking years?
20 years. I think if you're in office for that long, you're not out for the people.
He's the only one that gives a goddamn. That's why he sticks around.
You think that? He's been making how much money? How much money is he worth? What's his net worth?
Look it up.
And what was it before he started running in office, and what is it now? Why do I need to look up all this stuff?
Your challenge you made.
Yeah, but you don't know it.
That's because I trust the guy.
You just trust him because of what you read and the major...
No, I listen to the guy. I've been listening for 4 years.
Oh, 27-year politician.
Why
He averages $500,000 a year. He's estimated to be worth $8.8 million.
That's not a lot compared to most politicians. To most politicians
That's a
that are
career politician.
running for president.
Okay, if you want to warp the perspective of people and continue to stay in office and just build wealth, you're saying that's not it? Building $8 million, making $500,000 a year?
With what he runs for and votes for, look at his voting record and stands for, why can he not actually give a damn about good people and actually make a lot of money?
I'm just saying
that's who you would want to be. You want to be a rich guy and still care about people. Why is this rich person who cares about people a bad person?
I'm just saying he's a career politician. He's made a wealth of money.
Why does it disqualify
just being a politician?
Why does that disqualify him?
I think that's creepy.
Well, in this case, there's an exception to every rule.
I like exceptions to every rule. All he does is fucking take...
Well, if you come from that stance, I can't argue you out of it. I'm just saying you should give him a chance. Kevin, do you have any interjection?
I probably like him a lot more than I like Hillary Clinton. I'll give it that.
Right.
But...
We're not going to agree on who we're going to vote for, I can tell you that. Probably.
I did look into some of his track record in voting, but I have to look it up right now to look at what I disagree with. Yeah, you've been very quiet. You're like, I don't feel like talking about
I think you guys
serious
make both make excellent points.
Who do you like?
I don't like anyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say no one's really kind of like inspired me to be like,
It's still too early, but
it's very early. I feel like everyone's kind of testing the water. I mean, I feel like each party's like just throwing whoever they can out there and be like, how are you guys reacting? Then, all right, a little bit of the left, all right, a little bit of the right. Okay, like, that's. I think you see people like Rick Santorum throw his hat in the ring and be like, I'm running. Everyone's like, no, like how opposed are they? And then like, all right, we'll gauge it from there. Like, all right, we got to kick it back 2 notches to the left. Like, we can't have Rick Santorum out there doing his thing.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that's the most, people just start throwing out their most polarizing candidates and just trying to find like a happy middle right now.
That is part of the process thing, is the polarizing thing. I think the big thing that I stick on with Bernie is his voting record. He actually voted against the Iraq war. For a person from the left, it's like, oh, okay, someone actually stood up for what was right. He's been voting against Wall Street since 2008. He's been out there preaching against it through 2008. He wants to repeal Citizens United, which for me is a big thing, because I think money's corrupting politics, and he wants to get it out. It's at least somebody who's running for president who will actually say that.
See, most of my things that I disagree with him are most of his business perspectives. I think he has absolutely zero understanding of how free markets work and how things like minimum wage, it's basic things like that. He actually does have a pretty good track record in voting in terms of like social things. But I agree with a lot of politicians with that. He does seem like he disagrees with environmental things that I would agree with, and some things with Wall Street. But some of his business perspectives and the ideas that he thinks of growing a sustainable economy and actually introducing wealth and encouraging business to invest in and stay here and create jobs here. I think his perspective on that is completely flawed.
Here's my argument for that, because Obama was not as far left, but he was more left, but he's been forced to work with the right Congress. And my point is, somebody who has their ideas might not be bad for leading the country because he can get those social things into the attention of the public, but he'll be regulated by that Congress. He won't be able to pass everything.
How do you afford a lot of social programs that we need? How do you afford to do that?
Well, he wants to tax people who have been dodging taxes for the last 20 years and get them and actually give them harsh punishments for dodging taxes and close loopholes.
A lot of people that on the very conservative side want to make taxes a lot simpler so there aren't loopholes.
Yeah, I think we agree on that, but they're the ones that are actually getting paid by the companies you don't want them to get paid by. Bernie isn't taking money from those corporations that are...
No, he's taking it by big unions that don't allow for free enterprise and are not going to attract the companies that we need to continue to create jobs here, because we live in a global economy and those jobs are leaving because of those constraints. Those ideas, we need a larger economy so there's a larger tax base so the government can afford to do more things. We have a shrinking economy, the jobs are leaving and companies are leaving because of all the restrictions and the bloated regulations that we already have. We live in a global economy. We can't control everything anymore. We can't control companies. Companies like Boeing, some of these huge companies that have been here forever, are threatening to leave because of more and more restrictions that we're putting on.
If voting is a choice between two evils, I'd rather vote for a union than a corporation. If it's a choice between the lesser of two evils, I should say.
Yeah, I don't know if I would agree. I would agree to. I don't know if you can make the thing that those are the two choices.
Well, I am. That's my argument. That's my perspective.
I'd rather have it be neither.
That's not the choice. Lesser of two evils, Because I'm agreeing there's evils in unions.
You're the one getting to say these are your two choices, and
right.
You pick.
Well, that's what you're
getting.
getting.
I say that I'm going to.
You either got a candidate that's bought by corporations or one that's only bought by unions.
Here, wait. I'll see who my boy's getting funded by.
Because they're gonna have to get funding from somewhere. That's just the bottom line of it to win an election.
I agree. Whiskey and Wifi. Kevin said this is too intense. This is not. That's not what I came here for.
No. You both make really good points.
Oh, but it should just be like a bullet point.
We need somebody who's fucking socially responsible and a business leader. I don't know why they have to be so fucking divorced all the damn time. He might not have too many stats on him yet if he hasn't. Is this the first time running and stuff?
Yeah, I mean his chance of winning is so fucking. Most of them are like really obscure people. It's like, yeah, like CEO of a Source Support, which is a Georgia IT firm. It's mostly businesses and Republican people, like a rancher. Gave him $70,000. He's not gonna win.
That's one thing too. Is like,
Man, he is super thirsty.
one day I'll have enough money to give somebody $70,000 for a campaign who might lose, or he'll probably lose. That's a lot of money.
I mean, but it's not a lot of money in a campaign.
No, that's the scary thing.
They spent billions.
Hillary Clinton's going to spend $2.5 billion, which makes me sick.
Oh, I don't know.
Fuck you, Rodney.
Fuck you, Derrick.
I mean, we went on pretty long. I just need something to close it out on. So just fuck you, Rodney.
Go fuck.
This show's over. Kevin, it's yours.
Good night.
Best response.
Good night. Good night.
These idiots.
He's like, I fell asleep a half hour ago.
No, I'm good. I'm here.
No.
Oh.
We nerded out pretty hard there. We won't be done. We have weeks to
I
come.
didn't realize we were going into those areas, so I wish I could have fact
I
checked.
feel like
better.
the booze got us there, and now it's time to
Got
call
me.
it a night, at least a recorded night. So, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks,
No one's
Kevin.
listening.
We're just arguing at each other to make ourselves feel good.